This is my story. People ask me, what drives you? What keeps you going? I tell them this: where I come from, where I grew up, the people I grew up with, the things I saw as I was growing up. It's everything I've been through, basically. I get why for a lot of people, they would struggle, especially in the Western world, to be motivated, to find meaning in life, to live purposefully. Not many Africans share that same experience. If you come from the places that we come from, I'm generalizing here, but I think this is very true for a lot of Africans. Not to say that every African is driven by a very well-defined purpose, no. But most Africans, and maybe I should just speak for myself, where I grew up, how I grew up, I grew up with my mom. My mom raised me single-handedly. My dad was always away. He was never home. He was always working in a different country. Even when I was born, my dad wasn't home. I'm not going to go all the way back to tell you all that story. That's for another day. But the point is, I look at all the things I've been through, how I grew up, watching my mom go through some really difficult things to raise me. The community that I grew up in a gold mining town. So, education, some people didn't really have a lot of value for education because they had lands that had gold, and young people could make a lot of money at a very young age. And so the value of education didn't matter or mean a lot to them. And looking at the environment that I grew up in, without a man in the house, going through all of that, the struggles of life, I never really had anything I could call my own. I can look back and share a lot of heartbreaking stories, but the point is, all these things make me who I am. All these scars on me, the pain that I went through with my mom, the difficult times and challenges, all the times I was driven home from school because I owed tuition fees, and my mom really wanted the best of education for me. My mom wanted me to get the best of the best, so she was trying her best to keep me in a good school, one of the best schools in my town, but it was hard for her to pay for the fees. It's not unique to me. A lot of African kids go through that, where our parents, squeeze water out of stone. So my dad is out there working, trying his best. And as I grew up, I realized, when I was young, I had a deep resentment toward my dad. But as I grew up, I understood, parents make tough decisions for their families, especially men or husbands. So I started having a lot of grace for my dad. Not to ignore all the times that he was absent from the home, not at all, but you just have a more nuanced understanding to the whole thing. But again, that's another topic to discuss. So going through all that, seeing some of my colleagues drop out of school and what they became and all that, it just wakes you up. I grew up in a church. My mom raised me in a church. My mom is a very, very strong Christian. And so she brought me up with strong Christian values. She taught me to be a strong Christian man. Now, the notion at the time was that women don't raise men or boys, but I think she did a very good job, and I'm happy with how I turned out. Seeing how certain kids turned out, the experiences that I had around me drove me into service. So I had a chance to serve from a very young age. I joined missionary groups, humanitarian groups, and so we would go out and serve people. And through that, seeing the impact that was having in the lives of others, just being a young kid, just a little smart in school, serving people with that, and seeing other single parents who needed help raising their boys, and just sitting down with these boys and talking with them and sharing with them, I became passionate about young people. So I did more of that. And through that, I had families naming their children after me, maybe early to mid 20s. I had like 5 or 6 people who asked if they could name their sons after me. This is a big deal, culturally speaking. If you're African, you'll understand. It's a big deal for someone to say, I want to name my child after you. I have so much respect and honor for you. I would want my child to be called by the same name that you are called. That, anytime I talk about it, I get emotional. It really did something to my heart. So when I wake up every morning, I don't wake up for me. And by that, I mean, you have all these people looking up to you. You have all these people who celebrate when you win. So my successes in life, my wins in life, are never just for me. And I think that's beautiful. That's such a huge blessing I have in life. When I go through a challenge and I overcome it, there's a village of people behind me just waiting to to just yell and shout and jubilate and celebrate and say, yes, we did it, even though I went through that. But there's always a community of people behind me. They just want me to do well. They just want me to succeed, because my success in life, my wins in life will do so much for them. Young people in school, in high school, in college who call me, they reach out to me. You cannot desire to win. I'm here alone, but I'm not alone. It's my point. There are times I wake up in the night. There's this strong drive in me. Like, you have to do this. You have to keep going. You can't slack. I can't be a mediocre on my job. Like, it's got nothing to do with being promoted or being. Those are all good, and of course I desire those things too. But deep down within me, it's not even about pleasing my boss or doing something spectacular and getting the applause at my workplace. No, I just have to be diligent. There's only one choice. There's only one option for me. You go out there and you do your best, because you know what your best means. It means more than you. It transcends me, basically. I put my hands to anything, and immediately, I don't think too much about making it purposeful, meaningful, but I just have no option but to be diligent at it and do it to the best of my ability, because I have a weight on my shoulder and I love it. Is it hard? Yes, it is sometimes, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I value it so much. It keeps me going and it's meaningful to me. It's burdensome, I would say that, but it's worth carrying. The alternative is not pleasant to me. The alternative to that is not having this drive and just living for myself, just myself. No way. I like the way it is. So that's what I would say. And that's my drive. That's a long-winded answer, but that's what keeps me going. That's what drives me. I'm living for more than myself. I won't go into all the details. There are some practical things in there, but that I don't feel comfortable sharing now. Every penny I earn, every time I spend doing anything productive, it's very meaningful to me. And that's my life. Yeah.